If you are food insecure, you're not able to work, which impacts your ability to reach a financial point where you're able to purchase housing or even pay for rent. So I think it's one of the key factors in being able to reach those goals of becoming a homeowner, the American dream.
On this episode of the Thoughtful Realtor in Sacramento, I'm joined by Christina Cleveland, Director of Development for the Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services. Christina, I'm really happy and honored that you took the time to come on my show today. I think what you folks do over there is so critically important, and it ties in to real estate because people that are food scarce and don't have enough to eat are not going to, that affects housing, that affects a whole host of community issues.
Yes.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about our work.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to the Sacramento Food Bank?
Yes, so I started my career in media, was doing advertising, and working with a lot of corporate partners. And I found that what was intrinsically satisfying to me was working with nonprofits. And so I decided to marry that skill set of my sales and advertising background and look for an opportunity in nonprofit.
And how long have you been with the food bank now?
5 years.
Okay, wonderful. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes in that time period.
When I started there, it was just, COVID was just, we thought it was over. It was May of 2021. And so there had been a significant change in the organization, which is why they created the position that I'm in right now. Prior to COVID, we were serving about 150,000 individuals each month throughout Sacramento County. And overnight, in March to June of 2020, we doubled that with the same infrastructure we had in place and really were able to be nimble and pivot. But it was all hands on deck. It was a time of uncertainty. I think most people, when COVID hit, they thought it was going to be a 2 week. At least I did. And then we realized that this was pretty much here to stay. So since that period, those numbers have not really decreased much. We did go down in 2022 to serving about, I think, 278,000 people a month. But we are back to anywhere between 330,000 and 375,000 individuals each month throughout the county.
That's incredible. Besides food, do you provide ancillary services to them as well?
Yes, so food is our primary responsibility, is feeding our community. However, we have a CalFresh department which focuses on SNAP. In California, it's called CalFresh, and formerly food stamps. And so we have a whole department dedicated to those that are food insecure, qualifying, helping them with applications, working through any barriers to them receiving support from that program. We also work with SMUD, Energy Help, for utility assistance, nutrition education, and cooking support for some of our partner agencies to allow people to sort of expand, since the 40% of what we provide is fresh. Not only some populations aren't familiar with certain products that we receive, so we do everything we can to facilitate the use of those donated products and purchase products when it comes to produce, and utilizing unique recipes to further expand their palate and allow them to utilize the foods we provide.
And you recently had your 50th anniversary for the food bank at your distribution center, which was a lot of fun. I was able to attend and I got to tour the facility, and it is incredibly massive.
It is. It is. We have 110,000 square feet. So imagine a Costco warehouse or a Walmart distribution center. We are the charitable food hub for Sacramento County. So the food that's donated, the food that we purchase, which is about 40 purchased food, and certain commodities we receive through the USDA program, that all gets housed in our warehouse for distribution to 112 partner agencies. Currently have 200 distribution sites throughout just Sacramento County.
Wow. I mean, what do you attribute a lot of there's a lot more people that are food insecure now. And so, what are some reasons for that you've seen in Sacramento?
Well, I think we can all agree that the cost of food has gone up significantly, cost of fuel as well. Utilities have also gone up. So we're seeing families that were previously, that are still dual income, just not be able to stretch their budgets financially to accommodate these increased prices. It's, it's one of those things that one factor influences the other factor. And I really see it as a holistic community problem. We're really in crisis right now. We're hitting record numbers that we have never seen before in the 50-year history of our organization. And I think there have been increased layoffs. There's economic uncertainty, which also impacts people coming to us. They're not sure if the savings they have is going to last if they lose their job. So they ask for support for food instead of going without.
And one thing I've heard you talk a bit about is just the fragility of the population that we have here in Sacramento. And it's probably similar around the country.
Yes.
I don't think we're unique, but, you know, people are only like one step away from needing these services.
Right.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So 25%, I think it's 26 now as of a few days ago, the new stats came out. 26% of community members in Sacramento County are food insecure. That's over 450,000 people. And that number doesn't change. However, their ability to manage that fragility, manage what they are one paycheck away from not being able to feed their families, managing their budget. The fragility is not only of the number of people that are food insecure, but it's also of our network. Our network is built on a majority of our nonprofit agencies, our churches, community centers, very volunteer driven. And as the population ages and as the demographics change, those partner agencies are also at risk. So we have dual income, maybe that are part of the service industry. We've had with the federal shutdown in October and November, we had dual income individuals, both working for the federal government, as spouse two income families that came to us for the first time. We were getting calls that I've never had to, I've never been in this situation. And as much as I think we can say, well, you need to save for a rainy day, but it can be medical bills. It could be one challenge that puts you over the edge of being able to financially support your family.
Yeah, I relate to that a bit just because my mom was a single mom growing up and we didn't have financial support. We had government support for a while. And I remember going and getting like the block cheese and or the peanut butter. And those things really helped me get through, helped my family and my sister. And I know my mom, was just trying to survive at that point. But I think when you're a child and you're hungry, there's something so powerful and limiting about that feeling. And I think it can affect your whole psychology. Like, I don't think I'm going to be successful in life. think I can do this if you don't even have the basic necessities that you
Right.
need.
You need nourishment in order to learn, grow, and thrive. And as children, there are many statistics around their inability to focus at school. Their their health outcomes are much significantly less than those children that are not food insecure. And recently, I mean, we've had families keep their children home from school because the parents were afraid to go to the food distributions because they're, from other countries and that we have a large immigrant population in Sacramento. So those are kind of heartbreaking stories when you hear about sending the children in to get the food for the family. So 25% of the people we serve are children under 18. And the other growing population is our seniors over 70.
And is that approximately a quarter as well of
It
your
is.
population?
It is. So you look at the food numbers, and there's 50% of our population that are the vulnerable communities that don't necessarily have a voice and are struggling in silence. And we feel it's our duty, and we feel that hunger is a basic human right. Food is a basic human right to not be hungry. And so we try to reach as many people as we can to allow them to be nourished and successful.
And I know the food bank has a lot of really exciting events coming up and opportunities for people to get involved and help. I always think, you know, time, talent, or treasure. You can donate your time, you can donate your talent or your treasure. If you don't have one, donate the other. So I know I'm on the board of the Sacramento Association of Realtors Charitable Foundation, and I know we are going to have a team for Run to Feed the Hungry, which is your biggest fundraiser of the year.
Yes, and I'm sure many of your listeners and viewers are familiar with Run to Feed the Hungry. It's the largest fun run of its kind on Thanksgiving Day in the country. We actually have participants in other countries across the US.
That's unbelievable.
And what it's grown to the point where, North Carolina form their own teams, get the t-shirts and provide a fun cultural generational opportunity to celebrate Thanksgiving, but also give back at the same time for those that are less fortunate. And we're just really grateful to have Sacramento Association of Realtors as a partner. You guys always bring the enthusiasm, the manpower. Your team was pretty large last year. I'm anticipating it's going to be quite significantly larger this year. And that event alone feeds over 4 million.
That's just incredible to me. And I think the intersection between food scarcity or food insecurity and housing, everything's intertwined among each other, right? It's like if people can't eat and they can't house themselves, that's going to affect housing in the community. And I know the Charitable Foundation we are one of the largest donors, I believe, to charities in Sacramento, and we're be part of your event. So thank you.
Well, I mean, there are I've lost track, but over 1,000 nonprofits in Sacramento. So many worthy of support, and we're really grateful to partner with the Sacramento Association of Realtors Foundation because we know that you serve a wide community, and we also do. So we're Sacramento County at large, and there's just many of the same individuals that have partnerships, relationships, and are your clients and are our supporters and clients. And you would be surprised that right down the street, there's probably a senior who's struggling and you don't even know it. They're homeowners. They are able to pay their mortgage, but stretching a limited income, a fixed income each month can be very, very challenging. And there is no shame in asking for help. And we pride ourselves on really being kind, generous, and respectful, and meeting the community where they are and honoring their life experience and where they come from, and that they're in this situation is very often through no, but housing is very much tied to it. I mean, a basic human need of food propels the community forward in productivity, unlike any other factor. Because if you're hungry, you can't work, you can't feed your family, your children can't thrive at school. So it's really the foundation. I see it as a holistic partnership that we all, and not only serving the community, but supporting organizations that do. The role that nonprofits serve in our community is so powerful. Without them, we would be suffering as a community.
Yeah. And the other thing I was surprised to hear is that there are a lot of food banks now in universities and college. I know Sac State has one for its students. And I was surprised to hear that. And I am grateful to hear that they have options because, I mean, not to compare myself with some of those students, but you and I were probably eating ramen when we were in college.
Definitely.
But we could have definitely, we know that there are students that can definitely use the help. So do you guys participate in the food banks for the universities and colleges?
Yes. So we have food pantries in all the local community colleges and Sac State. And we believe that no student should have to choose between living in their car and having food, or purchasing books and having food. And to your point, it's the future of our community lies in people being able to be educated, opening doors to being homeowners. And so it's vitally important. We have a program called No Student Left Hungry, and it serves, I believe, 8 school districts in low income areas right now, so that children don't, in addition to the hot meals, they don't have to go without on weekends, holidays, in the summer. We provide food boxes, and some of our districts have food pantries. And then our community colleges, we have food pantries, so that those that are pursuing greatness, those that are wanting a higher education to a stepping stone to a better life, can feel supported and seen, and their needs met.
And I remember summertime being critical because a lot of times your parents are off at work and the kids are at home and they're hungry. They're not getting the school lunches that maybe they rely upon. And so I think this time, the summertime, is a very important time.
It really is. It really is. And a lot of our distributions at schools are on Fridays. So a family can take a food box home, and they will have enough food for over the weekend. And we continue that through the summer months. It's very important that we have that program in place. And that is really funded through the generosity of donors, as well as we write grants for that program. We don't receive any kind of government support or state support for that program in particular.
So if there are people listening today that are experiencing food scarcity and need some help, what is the best way to go about finding out what resources are available to them?
So if you go to the Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services website, sacramentofoodbank.org, we have a tab it says Find Food. And it's as simple as entering your zip code, and it will bring up the partner agencies we work with in your neighborhood. And very often there are 3 or 4. They have varying distribution times and dates, but it's as simple as that. And then just showing up at the food distribution. We don't require people to give personal sensitive information. We don't turn anyone away. It's all done with embracing those people that come to us for help.
Having 2 boys, I'm always encouraging them to get involved and volunteer in the community and giving back to the community. And I know one of my sons was involved in a fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and that was a really wonderful experience for him. I know that there's also opportunities at the food bank for young people and old people and anyone really just to fundraise and help you guys out. What are some of the ways that people can do that?
Well, back to your comment about contribution of time, talent. We have a very robust volunteer program. Anyone ages 10 and above can come. Of course, the younger ones with supervision from an adult, but we utilize 7 to 10,000 volunteers every year. We only have a staff of 85. And so to accomplish this great work, this very organizational, operational heavy lift every month, we rely on our volunteers to sort, box, and inspect food for us. There's also opportunities to get involved with our food pantries. Some of our food pantries need volunteers, so we coordinate that. It's also on our website. You can click on volunteer, and there's a schedule of volunteer times that are available to sign up. You can do it all online. And then we make it super easy. There's not a official training program. You don't have to go through a lot of steps. We just welcome you with open arms and are grateful that you're there to support us and help us. Another way to get involved is through virtual fundraising.
I love this idea. We talked a little bit about this. Tell us about the virtual fundraiser.
So you can go onto our website and create a virtual fundraiser, which is a unique page dedicated to your event, and then you just send people a link and they can donate. Every $1 provides 3 meals. So it's an excellent way for us to be able to purchase what's most needed at any given time. Participating in an event called Stamp Out Hunger, which is every May through the USPS Postal Service. Anyone who wants to support us can go to our website, sacramentofoodbank.org. There is a tab you can click on, create a virtual fundraiser, and you can send that link to your friends and family. Every $1 equals 3 meals. And so we're able to leverage that, those donations to really make an extensive impact in the community. It also allows us to purchase food based on what's needed at any given time. So we have an extensive food recovery program, which is through 150 of our retailers, every Safeway, Raley's, Whole Foods, Nugget Market, all of our Walmart, Costco, all of them participate in what's called Grocers Feed the Hungry. And so any leftover product that they can no longer sell, they donate to Grocers Feed the Hungry, and we coordinate efforts in each neighborhood to have our partner agencies pick up that food. The goal is to minimize waste and maximize opportunity for food access. So when our friends at Safeway have their, Nourishing Neighbors campaign happening at the checkout, when you contribute to that campaign, it does come directly to us. The same goes for Raley's Food for Families. That program also, when you contribute, it directly comes to us if the store is located in Sacramento County.
So there are so many different ways to participate and help. So you could do virtual fundraisers. You can actually volunteer at the food bank itself or some of the distribution centers. I think it's such an opportunity for young people out there, especially, to get involved. If you had to identify maybe the greatest need that the food bank has right now, whether it's food or I know that you need wipes and you're also distributing diapers to help mothers, what are some of the things that you're in greatest need of now, and can people donate those directly, or what's the best way to help?
If you would like to donate food, we ask, because it comes to us as the hub, and then we end up distributing out to our partner agencies. If you want to distribute or do a food drive, a physical food drive, we ask that you go to our website and type in the food finder, type in the partner agencies that are close to you and actually donate the food directly to them, because number one, it's contributing directly to your community where you live and work, but also it eliminates the downtime of dropping it off at our location and then us having to then redistribute it out to our partner agencies. We always need peanut butter. We always need nut butters and canned proteins. Those things are probably when individuals or organizations ask, we really want to do a physical food drive. We really will partner that with a virtual food drive, but we really want that tangible collection of food. That's what we encourage them to do.
Okay.
Regarding the wipes, we just found out that the state of California is now going to be funding. We're part of the National Diaper Bank Network, and that program is now going to be funding wipes. So it's wonderful because previously it was just diapers. And as any mother, parent knows with young children, it's
You can't have one without the other, right? You need diapers and
you
wipes.
can, but it's way more complicated
Yeah.
than we would like to. And it also, diapers is such a key piece of our programming because parents can't go to work if their children don't have diapers to drop off at daycare. They won't be accepted. So that therefore it prevents them from working and being productive members of contributing to society in that way. We want to minimize the barriers to productivity, to food security, insecurity. We want to minimize the geographic, structural, and other kinds of barriers to becoming the best version of themselves and the most productive, and giving them hope, because we're really the bridging the gap of hope is really what our organization does for people.
Can you speak a little bit about what you've seen, just boots on the ground? Because you're in the thick of it day after day, in terms of how food scarcity and insecurity and the housing market relate to one another.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I feel like it's a holistic ecosystem, if you will. If you are food insecure, you're not able to work, which impacts your ability to reach a financial point where you're able to purchase housing or even pay for rent. So I think it's one of the key factors in being able to reach those goals of becoming a homeowner, the American dream. We have many donors that used to be, as you mentioned in your particular situation, we have many donors that call us and say, I was in one of your clients when I was growing up, and I want to give back so that others don't have to experience what I did, or if they are in those situations, that I'm going to help in my own way. So I think it's all tied together. We actually have some clients that work for us now.
That's incredible.
And so some members of our team were clients and we gave them the hand, and now they're homeowners. One of them has been with us for 15 years and, has a family and has a house and is a very successful member of our team and the community, and has a unique perspective when you've gone through hardship. It brings out the empathy, and you have a greater understanding of your fellow citizen, your fellow neighbor. And I think it's all tied together with food insecurity.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I know that there's such a shortage of housing here in Sacramento and California in general. And we've just seen a rise in the unhoused population. I grew up in Sacramento, so it's a lot different than it was when I was growing up. I mean, some of it's still the same, but as you said, things are getting more expensive and people are struggling. Frankly, I go to the grocery store and I see the prices and I just don't know how a lot of people can make it.
Have that similar experience. I just went to the grocery store yesterday and it was $50 and that was with me being a member.
Yeah.
And I bought 5 things because of the work that I'm involved in. Every time I go and I pay at the grocery store, I think, how does a family of 5 do it? How do they feed growing teenage boys? How do they navigate the uncertainties of life? And if they're hit upon hard, which I shouldn't be spending all my free time doing that too, but it's just where I go. The empathy that you develop in this line of work and really seeing all age groups, all nationalities, young, old, college students standing in line to get food. And the time commitment that takes, right? That takes them away from the other things they could be doing to reach their goals and further their life and move forward. So it really is a significant part of being vulnerable. And we want to help as many of those people because we don't believe that anyone should be hungry. I know I get cranky just in the afternoon if I can't have my protein bar.
I call it I think it's hangry.
Hangry. Yes, definitely. I try not to get to the hangry stage, but I definitely think you start getting a little desperate to find something to eat.
It affects everything. It really does.
Mentally, physically,
your relationships,
everything. Yeah.
And I know that you're going to be speaking at the Sacramento Association of Realtors monthly meeting. I think our August meeting, is that right?
September.
Oh, our September meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I really look forward to hearing and seeing you then.
Thank you.
And I just really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today, Christina. And if you want to help the Sacramento Food Bank, please reach out. There's so many ways to give, and we're all in this together. So thank you, Christina.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Until next time, thank you for listening to the Thoughtful Realtor in Sacramento, where thoughtful guidance and local expertise support your most important real estate decisions. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe on your favorite platform, whether Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and share it with a friend. I appreciate you being here. Clarity, strategy, thoughtful execution.